I competed at the first regionals for Pokemon Champions, the Indianapolis Pokemon Regionals, home of the best city in America. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys about that. Yeah, I live in Indiana, and let's be real here. This Pokemon Regional had drama, it had pain, it had grit, it had magic, and that's honestly what perfectly encapsulates Pokemon Champions right now. It's only felt right to show you my journey of Indianapolis Regionals and Pokemon Champions Regulation MA. Now, I officially started my Pokemon competitive journey in 2021, and I didn't go to my first regional until 2023, the Scarlet and Violet era. Since then, I've been to 4 Pokemon regionals, and at each one, I have never gone positive. And this has dwelled on me for such a long time now. I wanted this record to change. I didn't like going 4-4, 4-5, 3 and whatever it may be. I wanted Pokemon Champions to be different. At the Indianapolis Regionals, I set one goal. That is to go 5-3 or better. So this video is how I trained to do that and overcome all my hardships along the way. With Pokemon Champions' first format being Mega Evolutions, I thought it would be an amazing experience to finally do this. Listen, I'm 26, and before y'all come at me with that unk stuff, hey, listen, player, listen! I never experienced any of that stuff. I never competed with Mega Evolutions, so I really miss what the people call the horrors of Mega Kangaskhan with the power-up punch, Salamence being so dominant, and even what's it called, huge power, a Mawile, all that stuff I've never experienced, but it was finally time. When I finally downloaded Pokemon Champions, I wanted to try a bunch of strategies out. I tried Mega Venusaur. Yeah, I was a Mega Venusaur believer before anybody else was. I tried Mega Zard Y. I even tried Mega Golurk, who was really cool, but just wasn't fitting my style. It wasn't until I came to this Pokemon who was undervalued and underappreciated. Mega Kangaskhan. Welcome to the Kang Gang, baby. Yeah, this is Kangaskhan propaganda over here, alright? If you're not in the train, you better get out of here, bro. You better get out of here. I don't have any attachment to Kangaskhan, but I just felt this Pokemon was dominant. I love unappreciated underdog Pokemon, and this Pokemon just felt like it didn't get the love, and it had every tool to do things to disrupt every single team. Regular Kangaskhan has the ability Scrappy, which gives you the ability to use normal and fighting type moves against ghost Pokemon. Now, you hate Gengar? Okay, figure it out. Use Double Edge. Or a little low kick. maybe even a Drain Punch. It was up to you to do whatever you want. And the biggest perk of it all was you could not get intimidated. Incineroar, you're cooked, bro. Get out of here, man. Kangaskhan was a beast. Had a lot of power and also could hit Basket Legion. And what made it even cooler was Mega Kangaskhan's ability. Those double edges are gonna hit harder, them sucker punches are gonna get crazier, and them low kicks are gonna sweep the floor, baby. Sweep the floor. Kangaskhan has a lot of moves it can use because normal types just have that cool function behind them. You could use Ice Punch to take down those dragons like Dragonite and Garchomp who just really threaten your team. Or you can be a little funky and use Hammer Arm to drop that speed stat because Trick Room is optimal. And yes, you probably are like, oh, Dreams, did you use Trick Room? You bet I did. I used these two awesome Pokemon, Uncle Torkoal and the Steed Prigaraf. See, in all the regionals I've been to, the most confident I ever felt was during Hard Trick Room. And honestly, I just really want to bring that back, even though Hard Trick Room wasn't so optimal in this format. Have you ever been in the position where you're going against Torkoal and Farigiraf during Trick Room and it has full turns? Yeah, that is an awful feeling because you cannot escape the wrath of these two. Eruption, Thunderbolt, Sidekick, Helping Hand, all the crazy things that can happen. And the best part about it is Farigiraf's ability, Armor Tail. Armor Tail stops any priority move that you can think of. Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet, Extreme Speed, all those funny little moves. Torkoal is not getting hit. This Pokemon can actually survive all forms of Weather Ball from Charizard, but also it had a 12% chance of getting KO'd by King Gambit if it didn't have black glasses. It really was a tank, and I felt like more often than not this Pokemon was just staying on the field way longer than my opponent ever would like it to. Farigiraf is one of those Pokemon that's going to be around the whole entire format, so you got to get used to it now because it's going to be there as long as you can remember. Torkoal on the other hand will be here and there, but as long as Trick Room is strong, Torkoal will be here. Torkoal's abilities Drought helps it set up the sun and do an amazing amount of damage with moves like Eruption, Heat Wave, and Weather Ball. This stat line is the most optimal stat line you can use, and there really isn't anything else you should be using because you are just going to get the most usage for this Pokemon like this. This trio was the trio I want to run with no matter what the team composition else could be. They hold a special place in my heart. I just love this trio. So I rose with this trio. They were my ride or dies. I use it in the largest Pokemon tournament ever, held by Scrawl BGC, the Grand Champions Festival. And believe it or not, I went 6-3. This is the first time I ever went positive at an event. And I was even the second highest placing Chestnut. Isn't that crazy? Chestnut is not supposed to be that good, but I ended up using it pretty well. I'm happy for myself. Even though I was one set away from making it the day 2, I felt accomplished and great. I was gonna take this team to the moon, or so I thought.
It's May 6th, and I played a lot of Pokemon today. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm screaming here. Why am I screaming? I'm frustrated. I'm lost, dude. I'm lost. I am lost. I feel like a few weeks ago I did really well in that region, in that tournament, Scrawl's tournament. And then now here I am. I lost like maybe 8 or 9 sets in a row, or at least today. But maybe at some point I was just like, okay, let me take a step back and then try some new things. I tried rearranging my team, seeing some. No, I'm like, I sat there like, what the heck, dude? I feel like I'm a bad Pokemon player. I feel like ass. Like, you ever just think to yourself, just like, I fucking suck at Pokemon. I feel like it right now. I'm like, oh, I want to go positive event, and the way I'm playing, I'm not gonna go positive at all. I don't know, man. I'm lost. I really am lost. I gotta do something, and maybe it's the meta. Maybe
I was getting countered everywhere I went. It wasn't because my team was meta or anything like that. It was just because my team just couldn't win. It really frustrated me because I really like this team, and I feel like a lot of people in Pokemon Champions and Pokemon Regulation MA have felt the same feeling where you can't use anything outside of Charizard Y and Garchomp and Basket Legion and King Gambit because it just didn't feel strong. If you do well into them, you do bad into something else, and I hope you feel the same sentiment because it's hard. Playing Pokemon and being consistent is extremely hard. At that moment, I decided to go get a coach. A multi-regional champion, Chup Lacrosse to be exact. Me and Chupa talked to each other, and he gave me a lot of great advice for the team I had and gave me a new composition to work with. I ended up using Charizard Y for a little bit, and that also didn't feel comfortable either. I felt like I was losing matchups, wasn't very consistent, until one day I ran into Blastoise and Vivillon. If you haven't seen Blastoise and Vivillon, these two are such a dominant force together as they use Sleep Powder, Shell Smash, Fake Out, and just sweep the whole entire floor. And I was hooked. Blastoise. Mega Blastoise to be exact. Oh! It just felt really good because this team was a Trick Room team, but they had a fast mode in the skies. It was amazing. You gotta deal with it. I ended up using this team until Cybertron, Aaron, Zhang posted a video online. You ever have like a team you really want to use and it's like, oh yeah, I'm using this team all the time, and then a big YouTuber or just gets really popular, it's like, dang, well now everyone knows about it. Like everyone started riding with this team now. Let's explain the composition of this team. You see, Blastoise was using these moves: Fake Out, Shell Smash, and 2 strong moves as Water Spout and Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse was to use for Ghost types and Psychic types, just good coverage move. While Water Spout is mainly the juice. It's so yummy, dude. It's just such a satisfying thing to hit when you have full HP. Oh, it's so great. The idea is to use Shell Smash first, and then use Water Spout. When you're +2 on special attack, it kind of just clears the whole entire field. The stats behind this Pokemon is really just using full speed, full attack, and a little bit of HP, but you have to be modest in order to get the full damage. Now, you're thinking to yourself, that's not going to work without some kind of like counterplay or redirection or something. Hey, that's what Vivillon's for. Vivillon's lovely butterfly. I actually like this Pokemon for a long time, but I've never had a reason to use it up until now. Vivillon uses Sleep Powder to make sure Pokemon fall asleep while Blastoise gets all the damage it can and set up as fast as it can. It also has things like Rain Dance to help Blastoise with the power. It has Hurricane to hit all the grass type Pokemon and bug type Pokemon that could come its way. And it has Rage Powder, which isn't used very much, but it can be very useful to make sure that your Pokemon does not get hit by anything crazy. Now you're like, Dreams, how does this even work? This Pokemon isn't all that fast. Choice Scarf. It has Choice Scarf, which boosts its speed by 1.5 to be faster than majority of the Pokemon within the format. It also made Vivillon so amazing as Vivillon had compound eyes, which boosts 1.3% of all accuracy on his moves. So Sleep Powder is now 97% chance of hitting. Wow! So it's faster than everything using Sleep Powder, while Blastoise sets up and just destroys the whole field. That's the game plan. It's very annoying if you're an opponent, but so satisfying, yummy if you're me! If you're me, I'm greedy, I don't care! But what gets me every single time is my 6th Pokemon slot. I didn't really like Basculegion in the slot, and I was circling around a bunch of Pokemon to figure out what Pokesash user I could use. And one Pokemon that was rising up pretty quickly with Pokesash was Glimmora. Glimmora was amazing. It's such a pretty Pokemon and just fit the composition as a beautifully placed team. It was fast enough to keep up with a lot of Pokemon in the format and strong enough to do a ton of damage. Glimmora's ability was Toxic Debris, so if you contact this Pokemon, it actually sets up toxic spikes, which makes it a lot easier to whittle down on some Pokemon like Garchomp or Pokemon like, I don't know, Incineroar. We don't like that guy. You can get poisoned, I don't care. You get the move Power Gem. Power Gem is a rock type move that hits a lot of things that are fire, flying, Charizard. Am I speaking the right language here? It also is really cool because it gets Sludge Bomb, which is a 90 base power move that hits things like Floette, Gardevoir, Sylveon, Pokemon that have really hard typings to counter. Poison was amazing because of this. But obviously what beats both those typings is Steel types. So that's why we run Earth Power to use against Archelodons, King Gambits, and if you get a nice helping hand boost from Farigiraf, that thing is nearly getting one shot every single time. This Pokemon also covered a great matchup that I was struggling with, Scovillain. Scovillain is not easy to go against. It has Rage Powder, it has Leech Seed, it has Overheat, it has all these functional moves that make this team a little hard to fight against, but with that it also gave me a little bit more of an edge because I wasn't getting burned by Mega Scovillain all the time. But this was the new composition I was going with.
It's Friday, so the day before the actual regional, and a lot of great people there. It's nice merch, and I got myself a nice shirt for the regional stuff. Whew, oh, it's hot outside. I'm excited for it. I'm a bit nervous because I'm like, I bet I've played like so many teams that are Charizard related, and you know, I win, lose, never consistent, and I just gotta play and view how it is, you know? I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm still confident in myself that I can do pretty well. So yeah. Here is day one of the tournament. We're here, my boy Nate.
Yo.
Nate is not competing, but he had a pretty saucy team with, who was it? It was Floette and
Hisuian Zoroark.
Hisuian Zoroark. Have you seen that team before, Arcanine and Serena? It's pretty sick. But we're walking to the venue right now, and there's a good amount of people out and about walking towards it right now, but the vibes are good this morning. Hopefully they don't make our dump our water out. But aside from that, we're pretty good. Yeah. Also, I guess you guys have noticed in the cowboy hat. It's a look. It's a look. It's a look. Cowboy King.
So in the vlog, I actually wasn't able to record myself after round 1 because I was talking to so many people after the round. And following that, round 2, I was able to talk about both of them. So hey, here you go.
So we just finished round 2. So round 1 ended up in a win, going to game 3. Round 2 also ended up in a win, going to game 2. So in round 1, I had fought a team that was Sinistcha and Sin, a Mega Floette team. And game 1, I ended up getting a nice live off of a 1% from Hydro Pump in the Rain of Rotom Wash. And that was pretty cool because I was just like, oh, I was pretty happy about that. And it did steal me the game because of that.
So I actually ran the calculation, and it turns out Kangaskhan actually has a 6% chance of getting KO'd by a Hydro Pump in the Rain at 77%. So I actually had nothing to fear. I was supposed to live it regardless.
And that game 3 was nice because I ended up getting a nice call out for Helping Hand, low kicking on Ensign. And then for the rest of the game, I called it out. His switches and my Eruption and Double Edge on Kangaskhan. And now the next set was pretty interesting because I was facing Archelodon. I don't like that Pokemon. I have hatred, some deep hatred for it because last tournament I went to, I faced 4 or 5 Archelodons and I lost every single one. So when I brought Glimmora on the team, main purpose was for Earth Power. So Earth Power was like to stop that Pokemon, and it paid off game 1 pretty well. And then game 2, they led off the Mega Glimmora with Talonflame. They double protect, and I led Vivillon with Blastoise. So that turn, I ended up switching my Vivillon out to bring Farigiraf in, but they did Sludge Bomb into Mega Blastoise, getting it to about in the yellow, like maybe about 30%, and then Glamora poisons it, and I'm like, oh my god.
I think it's important to say Blastoise probably could have won if he didn't get poisoned by their Glamora. But the important thing is VGC is all about opportunity. Whatever is presented to you at that very moment, you have to play through and keep going. RNG is what Pokemon's all about, and that's why you don't see every single pro winning the same thing. You don't see Wolf winning every single regional. You don't see him winning World Champion multiple different times. It's so hard to predict. And that's why we love it.
I ended up cleaning the game with a rather hardish read where Archelon was asleep in Trick Room. They had their Sableye on the right side. Sableye was stuck doing nothing, and they switched in the Talonflame to come back in order to bring Tailwind in, but the Archelon woke up and protected. So the issue at hand was if I would have attacked the Archelon, it would have died, but they protected, so it would have been a waste of a turn. But I doubled into that slot, predicting they would go Talonflame with Focus Sash. I hit it with Thunderbolt, and I also hit it with Power Gem, and then it died. And that sealed the rest of the game, which was very nice to get that.
So this is really awesome because I made one of the best plays I ever did because I was really aggressive. Because my friend Nate told me something huge about myself, and I play a little passive as the rounds go on.
Pretty solid, I would say, so I'm pretty happy about that. And Nate watched the whole thing. Anything to say, Nate?
It was clean plays.
All right. What was your favorite part so far?
Favorite part?
Yeah.
That was a good read on the Talonflame switch.
All right. You told me to play aggressive yesterday, and since that point, I've been thinking about that like, every back of my head every game, and so far it's paid off. So shout out to Nate. Shout out to Nate.
Round 3, I face up with Nora Bowman. I don't know why that name sounds slightly familiar to me. I don't know. But I knew this was going to be a tough match because I was also facing Farigiraf, Kangaskhan, Torkoal. I was like, oh, it's a Ditto in a way. Let's go.
All right, so it is end of round 3. I ended up going 1-1, then I lost 1, and then lost the last one. Game 2 is pretty eventful because in game 2, I missed Sleep Powder, which maybe will really lose the game, but I end up paralyzing Nora's 2 Pokemon at the end with Farigiraf Thunderbolt, and end up getting a good call out on a Protect on Basket Legion, hitting the Farigiraf, and then hitting Basket Legion the next turn and winning the game because of it.
Now I know what you're thinking, and it's probably like, oh, you got the double paralyzes on your Thunderbolt? Yes, but I also missed my Sleep Powder, which has a worse chance of missing than those paralysis is happening. So it kind of even out. You know, I was given a gift from up above, and they said, hey, I gave you a gift, and you gotta make a good call out, though. You gotta make a good call out. It's all up to you, though.
Game 3, I played pretty well. I could have made a better call out by switching or reading up Protect. I didn't read the team sheet correctly. Farigiraf had Protect on it, and I could have switched out on the turn and press Protect and get my own Farigiraf in order to get my Blastoise that had Shell Smash already a helping hand boost in order to kind of clear the field. And it would have been very, very useful in that case. And then from there on out, it's kind of a slow burner. So I think what I learned about this lesson is that I need to be slightly more aggressive in general.
Trading Card Game Seniors.
And
this is round 3.
I think I did play pretty well. I think I made some good call-outs in game 2. I should have been a little more aggressive on or caught some hard reads. The opponents get better. Nate said it best. As the opponents get better, the harder reads you have to try and make. Just naturally how it works. And we're good, 2-1 right now. We're gonna go from here and get some more dubs. So yeah.
Now, if you are on Twitter or maybe heard anything in general, you probably heard about round 4 at Indianapolis 2026. We were living in the dark ages. Listen, it's embarrassing for my home city to have these issues of the bathrooms, no water, Wolf Glick running Mega Steelix as a boss battle, and then you have the issue of connections. Oh my god, connection issue. I'm telling you, it was between round 4 and 5 was a 3.5 hour time slot. It was crazy. I was very surprised to get my game in before they had the second phase of round 4 that started at 1:30. But me and my opponent got our match in, thankfully. Thankfully.
Hey-o! So it's after round 4. Craziest technical issues we've had. I think it took us maybe 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes is generous.
Yeah.
Well, the round started late too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm here with Joel. Joel's my opponent last round. Me and Joel got to go against each other. Joel told me He's going to kill every single Vivillon Blastoise player before I gave him my sheet, and I was like, gulp.
We were sitting there having technical difficulties, and I was like, I heard about this Vivillon, Blastoise, Shell Smash, Sleep Powder team, and I hate them. I hate them. And then Will turned out to be one of those players. So
yeah. So our match is pretty good. Despite it taking so long, it still worked out pretty well. You ran rain, and rain was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I think the issues of our match, that maybe he brought me Pelipper out a little too fast, but he also called me out on a couple things. You need to call me out with the sneezer play. I just made a slightly better play for that, I think, because the term before that, you use all your outs to protect.
I did, yeah. I used them all, and then I double protected a lot where I shouldn't have. And then Will also outplayed me. I switched in the Pelipper thinking he was going to Earth Power, and then you Power Gem instead, which was a great move. Definitely, Will definitely outplayed me on this one. Definitely deserved the win. So
hopefully we'll see Joel throughout the day. We'll talk to him later, but I just want to give you guys a recap.
I hope I'm at the beginning half of this video. It's a long video. You have a whole thing in day 2, so best of luck to you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Joel was such a nice person, and it was really cool to get actually Joel to talk to me and have like a nice little conversation afterwards. They were very respectful throughout the whole entire thing, and when you kind of had that time, like 30 minutes, just bonding with them and talking about it, the whole experience, it builds you together. So during the huge break, you're probably wondering what I did. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, I sat down and meditated and fell asleep. That's what happens when you meditate sometimes, you fall asleep. But I meditated a little bit just to kind of keep myself in that primal state. You know, you got that killer state. After like 3 hours, you kind of lose a little that state. You find a little passive. You start doing like repetitive things. And I knew I had the killer state of mind. So going into round 5, if I could win this, I'd be 4-1, and I'd be in an amazing position to hit my goal of going 5-3 or better. I'm using my hand for this one mainly because I don't want to get my stick out. But got Mimikyu in the back. That's my goat right there. So currently, we just got done with round 5, and it was very interesting. It was a 3-ish hour delay, more of a 3 hours and a half since the 4th round and 5th round started. A lot of technical difficulties, kind of unpredictable, but it is what it is. We've been playing plenty of regionals. I kind of felt a little bit like, what's it called? A bit low on energy in a way when I had to, before I played, and I started to snap back into it. I fought my first Charizard team, the standard one with Garchomp and all them. No Whimsicott, no Glamora. They had soft sand, no rock slides on the Garchomp, thankfully, and just sleep powdered, water spout faked out, all that stuff. Game 3 just went really well. Game 2 was kind of funny because I had to make a prediction to King Gambit and Charizard on the field. Charizard would sleep. King Gambit could Sucker Punch Blastoise. So I did for a double. I did another Shell Smash and slept the King Gambit. And if Charizard didn't wake up, then they would have been in a very bad situation. So it was very, very interesting. And it worked out for me in Game 3. And you know, I kind of had a lot of good plays and a lot of good reads throughout the whole thing. I had a crit on King Gambit when it swapped in. I would have personally not put King Gambit in the match, mostly because I've got King Gambit took too much damage. And I still have Rigoraph to switch into the back and then do like a Sucker Punch or something like that. But happens, it is what it is. And we just have to keep making good reads and more aggression. And we keep doing that, we'll continue being 4-1 and go onwards. We're one set away from making it to my goal. That's not the goal. The goal is just to keep going every round and see what I can do there. So pretty happy. Hope to fight someone that's not Charizard, but we're gonna fight Charizard anyway, most likely. Charizard's popular, it's good. So yeah. And I know my team isn't the most fair of teams, but in a world where Charizard, Aerodactyl, Sylveon, Garchomp, Basculegion, King Gambit, and Whimsicott are all running around all of amok, I gotta run something to kind of beat them, you know? It's a good strategy, and it takes an even better player to actually be good at it. Because I wasn't always just using Vivillon, Blastoise to lead my Pokemon matches. I used so many other leads up to this point, and throughout the whole entire tournament. It's a lot of skill, and it took me a lot of practice. Going into round 5 was pretty interesting. I had to go against William Brown. which may sound familiar to you because he was on stream. He had this crazy team of Spathra, Villain, Mega Dragonite, and of course Hollytoad. This team I knew was going to be a demon because I had my arch enemy Archlodon. My last regional I played in, I actually faced 5 Archlodons and lost to every single one of them. It was not fun. So I had a good idea how to open the game with Glamora and Farigiraf, and quickly that didn't work. It just didn't work. I lost both my Pokemon pretty quickly, and all I had against their Mega Dragonite and a Spathra was Vivillon and Blastoise, and somehow I reverse swept William. I don't know how I did it. I really don't know how I reverse swept them, and the momentum was really in my plate. Honestly, I'm glad I had the momentum on my side at that point.
So from there, game 2, I'm kind of a little blindsided by that because I left the same thing. I did a little difference, but the issue at hand is I figured out that Farigiraf doesn't die in one hit to that double up, and I was like, oh. And I think to myself, I think Vivillon coming in that next slot was better. So I think Farigiraf dying was actually for the best. Happens. So next game I left Vivillon and Blastoise. And from there I was like, okay, we got this, we got this. I had a Shell Smash, doing all the right things. The craziest thing, I made a really good read. So in turn 1, Espathra I knew would protect because I don't want to fake out. I went to sleep out of the Dragonite. So Dragonite also protects, but I Shell Smash, so I'm faster than the Spathra, and I'm just gonna Sleep Powder the Dragonite next turn. Dark Pulse the Spathra, as fast as does. I end up Water Spouting, trying to hit both. I hit the Dragonite, but Dragonite wakes up turn 2 of its sleep, which it's expected to happen, honestly. It's 33% chance of happening. If it didn't happen, it would have been bad luck, I think, on their part. But what happened after that is that they woke up, they killed Blastoise, and at that point I was trying to play, do a lot of best chance to come back with this. I think if I brought Torkoal in the back, which I decided not to because I wanted to be Kangaskhan instead, I think there would have been a way to win that match, but it worked out, I think, in some ways. And I played pretty well. I had a really aggressive lead, and just cards were in my favor this turn, and that's okay, Played pretty well, and I can't complain. So we're still close. We're still close. So tune in for next thing. So I'm feeling pretty solid. There's a lot of awesome people here.
So we're on to round 7. I was 4-2, and I felt still pretty confident in myself. I lost due to my own accords, and I felt to myself this was going to be the one. I decided to take a little time to meditate and sit outside the venue. Turns out I meditated for too long, and I almost missed the start of the round. I get back to my chair, and I'm not going to lie to you, X and 2 tables can be really stressful because the potion you're going against most likely is going to be really serious. Like, they'll look at you and don't make crack jokes or laugh or even smile at you like, yeah. It feels a little like, okay, they're just like not wanting to talk right now, and the energy gets mixed up. My opponent, Jack was such a nice person. Jack was running a really fun composition with Torkoal, which I loved, and Gardevoir. I didn't see any Gardevoirs today, so I was pretty excited to fight Gardevoir because I practiced a lot against this.
I'm gonna go by game. Here we go. So before this, I was 4-2. He was going crazy. Game 1, he predicted a good move in Trick Rooms when I was using my lead of Blastoise and Vivillon, and he did a good job, and he predicted correctly. I was able to secure game 2 with my own Torkoal. My Torkoal came out early. He had ran Sneasler that time. Sneasler was a little bit of a nuisance, but I had a feeling Sneasler wasn't going to be that crazy because Sneasler did a close combat into my Farigiraf, and it brought itself down to White Herb. So when I brought Torkoal in, he went for another close combat, but this time helping him with the mouse hold. And I ended up using my Weather Ball, killing the Sneasler. So I had Kangaskhan in the back to deal with a Torkoal he had. And that was pretty well. So game 3, 1-1, we're like chatting the whole time. Jack's such a cool guy, very nice. A Sleep Powder onto his mouse hold because it follow me, is I do low kick. That way I don't kill his mouse hold, so mouse hold doesn't come in, or his Pokemon doesn't come in
to do some great damage. He did Hyper Voice and didn't kill either of my Pokemon. I hit him with Double Edge, Mega Double Edge kills. He switches back into his friend guard Pokemon Mousehold. I love Mousehold. I kill him with that, and I believe my Pokemon dies, and his Gardevoir is still asleep. So from there, I bring out my Farigiraf. So I had a feeling his Pokemon was going to wake up that turn. So I end up sleep powdering his Basculegion, because Basculegion comes out as the last Pokemon, and I do Trick Room, which he last thing he did not expect. I Trick Room, and I was ready to bring out Torkoal. Turns out I didn't bring Torkoal. I was wrong. I didn't check the back. I had brought Glamora. I could have paralyzed or hit his a Thunderbolt on his Basculegion, brought Glamora out, and won the rest of the game that way. Or if I had Torkoal, I could have swept the rest of the game with Torkoal. But yeah, I made a very, very poor decision. I thought I had Torkoal, and because of that, I ended up losing that game. And it hurts. It hurts right here because I'm one set away from getting positive. I was like, okay, I'm getting day 2. Okay, I'm not getting day 2. But it hurt because I knew I was close enough to make it to get to my goal. But that means if I'm close up in that set, I should close up this next set. So we got that. I'm trying to stay positive because you're gonna have to for this last round and like that. And yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of harsh. I'm not gonna lie.
You can hear it in my voice how kind of distraught I really was. Even thinking back at it now at that moment and how I felt and in this very second, it kind of stings still. This is Monday, like a day after the event. I honestly felt defeated. I felt like I wanted to give up at that point, and I still had one round to make my goals hit. And thankfully I had a lot of friends and texted some people to give me some support, and I don't know, it was just, I shouldn't get like all emotional hard. I still had a lot, but when you're in the moment and you're thinking you might miss your opportunity to hit your goal, it's, I don't know, it's a lot. It hurts you. And I make this video, and I just make this video still. I want to make you guys like a little proud to invest your time up at this point and watching me. And I don't know, it was sinking into myself, but I had to lock back in. I had to be better.
So round 8 just ended. I ended up facing another Blastoise team. Blastoise, Meowscarada, Sinistcha went double grass, Sneasler, there was also Pelipper, and the last Pokemon did not get brought. So I didn't remember who it was. I led that game with Kangaskhan Farigiraf, and I accidentally Mega'd because I was a little scared of Sinistcha, but I actually Mega'd, and I faked out into Sneasler, also doing Psychic, but they switched into Blastoise in that turn, and Blastoise is at pretty low damage, so it was kind of in a bad position. Then I still had to fight against, on the other side, was Meowscarada. Meowscarada was doing triple axles to try and do some damage, wasn't doing very well for it, and then at that point, I ended up KOing the Meowscarada on Double Edge. I KO'd the Blastoise with Thunderbolts, and then I kind of let the rest of the game away with Vivillon. Vivillon was putting things to sleep, and Vivillon just did his thing after Kangaskhan died. So game 2, so I still led Farigiraf and Kangaskhan. This time I didn't want to terrestrialize, because I mean to not terrestrialize, sorry, still in the head. Mega Evolve, and they led double Ghosts. So they led both Basculegion, that was the other Pokemon, Basculegion, and also led Sinistcha. I fake out the Basculegion and Thunderbolt it with Farigiraf. And in the back I had both Vivillon and Torkoal. So I thought to myself, I was like, okay, if I can get in the position to get Trick Room up, it should be pretty good for me. So I did, I got Trick Room up, I brought Torkoal out, and I could see my opponent's face just like, and I felt all bad. I'm like, uh-oh, I don't think they brought Pelipper. Pelipper was in that matchup, and I don't think they brought Pelipper. And I was like, that's not good. And then kind of Torkoal and Farigiraf took over. And it just wasn't, it couldn't come back to win that. And I still had Vivillon in the back to put the Pokemon to sleep, just in case Farigiraf or Torkoal went down after Kangaskhan went down. So I went 5-3. I went positive. We did it. We went 5-3, baby. 5-3. We hit our goal. Yes! Yes! My first time ever going positive at a regionals. Oh my god, I'm so happy still. Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
I finally reached my goal of hitting positive at an event. Now, I wasn't very happy about what happened last round 7, but as long as you finish, you know? I was able to get mindset back, talk to some people, and they were able to help my mindset get back into it, and that's the most important thing. I think it's awesome to have these events and be able to come back to it. And there's a lot of like difficulties along this way. It's just the connection issue. So that was a bit difficult too, but Cowboy King and the gang did it. 5-3. That just means a lot of things for the future. I don't know what I'll do for VGC after this. I'll play a lot of champions, but I'm happy. I mean, also to go day 2, but I'm happy with hitting that goal where I wanted to. So yeah, this is sick. Shout out to Indy.
Comparison is the thief of joy, but I looked at all the people who also got 5-3, and it also made me feel really good to see a few regional champions up in there, and also some really good players who talked up before, and I felt like I was amongst the legends. I would love to have gotten day 2 to see how good I was in comparison to these new form legends of Pokemon Champions, but hey, that'll be next regional, right? Upward spiral, baby. This team just meant a lot to me. I really do love this team. It's gonna cement a personal place in my heart forever, and I hope to use Kangaskhan, Torkoal, and Frigoraph one more time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you subscribe to the channel to see more Pokemon content and more Pokemon Champions related content. I'll see you next time.